to the right foot of Paul McGinn. Looks so sharp on the ball, Porteous. He knows after the mistake against St Johnstone that he has ground to make up. He knows he made that mistake. Here's Jackson Irvine, takes it on his chest, down to Kevin Nisbet, chance again, it's here for...
Yes!
And there it is! Looks so sharp on the ball, Porteous. He knows after the mistake against St Johnstone that he has ground to make up. He knows he made that mistake. Here's Jackson Irvine, takes it on his chest, down to Kevin Nisbet, chance again, it's here for...
Yes!
And there it is, the first of hopefully many on 27 minutes. There's number one, and it's Kevin Nisbet. Hibs take the lead at Hampden. It's Hibs 1, United 0.
Yeah, we just said that. He's unlucky, he looks sharp, and this time it's wonderful play from Jackson Irvine. It's a poor header, I think, from Smith, and we'll see the replay here. Irvine shows great composure just to bring it down. You'll see it here. Poor header, I think, from Smith, the fullback. Good composure from Jackson Irvine, brings it down, slips into the path again. Good first touch, and he finds that bottom
It's all
corner.
placement, isn't it? He just looks at the corner and said, I missed it that time, and I'm not going to miss it this time.
Nope, the last one, just a wee range finder, and there you go. Just beautiful. Just passes it into the net, doesn't blast it. Wonderful finish, and Hibs go one up. I
think Hibs have kept United on the back. Now a chance, what a touch. Chance for Christian Doidge!
Yes! Come on!
And Christian Doidge. Puts Hibs 2 to the good. That man again, Christian Doidge, and on 57 minutes, it's Hibs 2, Dundee United 0.
Oh, it's a fantastic goal. Well worked from Hibs. Great ball from Boyle. Wonderful link-up play from Nisbet. Slips him in. He's offside. We get away with one there. He's definitely offside, but I tell you what, he doesn't stand about and wait for it. He puts it in the net. It's a fantastic finish. Sometimes you get those little breaks, and Christian's took advantage of it and slides it in the bottom corner. Wonderful goal. Dundee United will feel very hard done by because he looked as if he was offside there, but put the ball in the net and then ask questions later, and that's what Christian done. Wonderful finish.
That's it, and as the old saying goes, play to the whistle. If the whistle doesn't sound, keep on going. Christian Doidge slots that one home, and now we have a goal in both corners, and look at the joy on Doidge's face. And I mean, I have to agree with you there, Tam.
Yeah, he's offside.
We're
no
blessed for that goal to
yeah.
stand.
Yep.
United with a big spell here. McNulty will shoot.
Hiya, boys.
Batman shit.
Do you make the bus then, Dave?
No, I didn't. I was running. I wasn't.
So I thought you were running for the bus.
No. I was just running home.
How we doing, Gav?
Sure hung up on me.
Good.
Yeah.
The thing is, I just didn't want to see you going A over T, your phone flying in the air.
Hey, sure, I think I'm coming to yours.
Good stuff.
Is that alright?
Of course that's mate.
It kind of needs to be because I'm in my head. I'm like, I'm there. Eh? I'm in London. I'm with you, and I'm happy.
That's the first time those words have ever come together. That's fantastic.
I think I want to be there for the fit boy.
Absolutely.
I really want to be. So does Gav. So if me and Gav come, if that's all right, you.
No, can I have a problem with that?
We'll train every day of the week. I'm not driving anywhere. Nah, I will.
Train only takes about 4 hours to London. 4.5 hours to London.
I've done the train to London before. Gav, it's so good. No, who cares about the money?
Well, put it this way, I'm coming up this weekend. Return train for me, including the jump to Ramsgate, is 114 quid return.
Yeah. And
tell you what, that like the Wi-Fi is brilliant on the train. I can sit and work and things like. No suggestion you boys are going to be doing that, but you can take a laptop and like watch Netflix or whatever on the way down.
Well, we'll just talk and drink beers. But Gav, you'd be that in fuel, mate.
Aye. And you get to the other end and you're knackered because you've been driving and sat on your arse for 9 hours.
Yeah. Stuart, Hibs talk. You can send it to him or will I send it to him? Sorry. My bad. He just firing digs at me. I'm sorry, mate. I've fucked it a wee bit, but
that's all. You're holding it together fine.
But exactly what I was going to say. Bob's slightly pissed off at me.
Fantastic goal.
He made me a coffee and gave me salsa and crisps until I got my dinner because I've fucked it that much. So,
how many pints did you have?
Oh, mate. I hate when folk exaggerate, right? But I'm thinking at least. I don't think it was 10, but it was.
Jeez. You're surprisingly compass mentis if you're hitting those numbers, mate. That's brilliant.
8 or 9 at least, because. But I can hold beer really well. Eh?
Oh, well done. Should have seen my recycle bin this morning. It was absolutely full of Carling cans.
I can hold really well.
My buddy came over, but he was looking after his kids later in the night, so he was only having a couple, things like that, and I was just, I think for every one he had, I was having about 2.5.
Right.
Hi, Stuart.
You'll not have that problem when I see you, mate, in London. I'll tell you how much.
Good man.
All right. Sorry, mate. You get it? Let's talk content.
We're too social. That's our problem.
I don't even think we say much in Hibs Talk content, but I've just had too much to drink that I posted that. Part of the content, that's what it was for Joe, basically.
How many pints in, Dave?
But right, that's what I was just saying to Stuart. Like, I can hold my beer pretty well, but at least I don't think it was double figures because I hate people that exaggerate. But I think 8 or 9 at least.
Well, the thing is, you're doing all right. By the way, I'd be sleeping.
Nah,
I'm with you, Stuart. I'd be the exact same.
But that's since 1 o'clock. So.
Oh, I'd be sleeping. I'd be honest.
Yeah.
I'd be having my papa nap.
I feel I came in and my bird was like, "You're a disgrace." So she gave me tip and dip.
No offence, Dave. I'll just stop you there. Billy's warned us that he can hear us on the actual chat, but obviously the screen's not live yet. So.
Fuck's sake! Gav, get Gav! I'm not
Hello, you're listening to. Let's try that again. Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host, as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
All right.
Stuart.
All right, there.
Knew that was going to happen.
Aye.
And Papa Stu.
I'm here then. Papa then.
Guys, how you getting on?
I'm all right. You?
Yeah, I'm really good. Really, really good. Birthday yesterday, so enjoyed that. Although I was working, kind of made my birthday Friday instead. Really enjoyed that. And then, but even then after work, what a birthday present. Which obviously is the main thing we're going to be chatting about today. Stuart, how are you getting on?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. It's a bit of a quiet one this morning, I will be honest. Celebrating your birthday last night, which was fantastic, remotely. Obviously, nothing else happened. But yeah, apart from that, just honestly, in a really good mood. Thanks to Hibs. Those are unusual words to say.
Papa Stu, how are you getting on? How's your weekend been?
Fine, brilliant. Great yesterday. Me and my boy, we were in the bar here, and here till about 1 o'clock. So it was a wee bit fuzzy this morning, but it was good. Had to look back on a couple of the highlights just to remind me.
And Dave, the people that were live might have heard some of this beforehand. I've been drinking since 1. You didn't do your drinking yesterday. You saved it for today.
Yeah, I did not know we were live, so I've had a pint or two. A pint or two since earlier on, and I did not plan it well. It was not meant to go like this, but I enjoyed myself. Had a good afternoon and just kept drinking. I should have probably pulled out the podcast and gave it to somebody else, if I'm being honest. So we'll see what happens. I'm all right.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine. I like Stuart's shirt, but I don't know if that's because I've had a few pints. It's a fantastic shirt.
Thank you. I will say I'm wearing a slightly kind of baggier, breathable shirt because I just got a tattoo on Friday. So I'm trying to kind of keep away from kind of like abrasive materials, and also trying to get it to absorb the gels and all that you get on it. So
I already know the tattoo you got, but do you want to tell everyone what the tattoo you got was?
Yes, I did. I got cabbage and ribs on my ribs itself. Very painful place to get a tattoo, by the way, kids.
I can imagine.
So yeah, enjoy that. It's fantastic. When it's hopefully
cool,
cheers, mate. When it's kind of healed and a bit less red, I'll post another picture.
Yeah. But yeah, Matt Reed's saying drunk podcast, what could go wrong? Yeah. Well, it's only one of us that's drunk. The other two are hungover and I'm fine. But
honestly, all right.
Aye. The captain's got the ship all right, so we'll be all right. But obviously we're going to be chatting about Hibs. Yeah, fantastic result yesterday. We're in the Scottish Cup final. I was going to say who would have seen it, but I said it before we just got knocked out. I'm going to find the audio somewhere and put it in. Not this podcast, that's too much work, but I'll find it in the coming weeks. But yeah, Stuart, let's start with yourself. Your kind of reactions to last night and your emotions.
I'll be honest, I was nervous going into. I don't know if it was just kind of still it's Hibs, it's the Scottish Cup. Slightly hesitant with it being Dundee United. We have had the better of them. I believe that we've beat them the previous 7 times going into yesterday, which I didn't fully appreciate. But the 1-0 game up at Pittodrie was a bit of a tight one. The extremely disappointing 1-1 at Easter Road with their last gassed equaliser. Then the 2-0. There still wasn't that much in the games there. They have got a very physical side. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from the game, but quietly confident still kind of going into it.
Papa Stu, you seem to be a lot more confident in the group chat. Was that just sort of fighting words, or did you really feel confident going into the game?
I've told you that Dundee United peaked against Aberdeen. I watched the game where I'm sitting just now, with the Aberdeen Dundee United game, and yeah, they played well, but I just thought they peaked. And I says 3-0 or 3-1. The score was going to be. I just thought they were too good for them, and it showed. Hibs, I don't think, or I didn't think that Dundee United had any depth in their squad that we had coming off the bench either. So I just, and when I seen the way they were laying their team out, I said that to Taylor, my lad. I said to him, I said, we are too strong for them in the middle of the park because they were playing a 4-3-3 and we had 5 in the middle. We were playing a 3-5-2, and I knew right away there. I said it to him sitting here. I went, we're going to be too strong.
You posted on the group chat as well. You were absolutely right, mate.
I honestly, I've been. I keep on saying I'm older, and I've seen a lot of shit results over the semi-finals, finals with Hibs over the years, and going into derbies and feeling, this isn't any good, and feeling really negative about it. But when I feel positive, ready to watch a game, I know that we're going to do it because I knew we were too good for them, and it showed.
Dave Stewart mentioned, or Papa Stu mentioned, the kind of the way that Dundee United were set up against Aberdeen. They were very much in Aberdeen's face and trying to get in behind quickly. When they got the ball, they were trying to release it quickly and get in behind. I know, we're going to go into the full game, but I think it's fair to say there was danger for signs the first 10-15 minutes that they were getting in behind a couple of times, and you could see the game plan that they were trying to do.
Yeah, I'll be honest. See, I thought the first 20 minutes were quite frustrating. I could see what they were trying to do, and I felt like it was working. And I don't think we were at full flow, and I was concerned that was going to be the pattern of the game. Because kind of that way where teams that are no as good as you just frustrate you. I felt frustrated the first 20 minutes, and I thought that was the way it was going to go. But obviously it didn't go that way. So I think that Harks is a decent player. I think he's underrated. Yeah. I think everybody goes on about Shankland and McNulty, but I think he is very underrated.
He had a couple of half chances early on, which I think he'll maybe kick himself. I think the one that Shankland played him through, he really miscontrolled it. I think that one he'll be kicking himself. He didn't do better, but but like I say, Hibs, on the other hand, like say, sort of, I'd say weathered the storm, but that's exaggerating Dundee United's start. But I sort of taking a look at the notes here. I mean, Jackson Irvine had a chance earlier on. It was great play by Porteous, sort of bombing forward. I know some people get annoyed when I'm doing that, but if it's going to result in a chance, which it did, I don't have a problem with it. Jackson Irvine had the shot, went just wide, and then the first sort of proper chance, I'd say, Boyle down that right hand side. We've seen him run at defence quite a lot of the time, Stuart, throughout the game, and he sort of plays it back to Nisbet. A great first touch for Nisbet, and the shot just past the post. Do you feel that was sort of a turning point of Hibs starting to get a bit more belief and start to create chances?
Yeah, sign of things to come. I don't think Boyle had the best first half. Fair play to Robson at Dundee United, was keeping him pretty quiet. Not the easiest job to do in top flight Scottish football there. It just seemed a bit cagey in the first 20 minutes from both teams. The Hearts chance, kind of going back to that, it kind of smacked as me that if that was a pre-season friendly, he'd have taken that first time and smacked it right at the keeper. But he just didn't want to make the mistake. He didn't want to rush it, and that's probably what he should have done. But yeah, good work by Ball inside, and yeah, Nisbet. Obviously, we'll talk about him more later on. It was the start of him having a fantastic game at the National Stadium.
Yeah, Papa Stu, I mean, again, it was sort of Porteous who's trying to play the ball forward. It was a long ball. I think Dundee United headed it away, and then a great touch from Irvine, great control, great layoff. First touch from Nisbet, and as if he kind of learned from his previous one, just places it in that bottom corner. It goes through the defender's legs, so hard for the keeper to see, but a great finish nonetheless. And brilliant to see Nisbet get that sort of duck off his back during National Stadium.
The actual control from Jackson Irvine is brilliant.
Aye. It
came out of the sky, and he just, that's class. A lot of people will say, just all he did was, controlled it on his chest. He brought that down and then laid that for Nisbet just to, do his sound. It was a fantastic finish. But I just feel, see Jackson Irvine, he goes, about his business quietly. He's, he doesn't even want, a lot of them, and look at me. He's not that type of guy. He just gets on with his, I think if he doesn't sign for us, I think we'll miss him. I think he's fantastic in the middle of the park.
I don't think it's a coincidence that the performances have kind of improved, and we've started all three strikers are scoring goals off the back of him coming into the team. A lot of people say about misplacing passes, but as Dave said in previous weeks, I think that's him attempting those passes, and when they come off, we're getting chances. So I think I'm desperate for him to sign. We'll speak about that in a bit more in a bit. And Boyle, as the game sort of grew on, started to run more and more defences, more and more direct. I know there was the one where he won the free kick where he went out through like 4 folk, just taking the piss. And there's one he's obviously in the 57th minute started to come into the middle, run forward, plays it to Doige, and Dave, we've sometimes said about Doige in the past about if he's got too much time, he's better with chances that are come to him quickly, but had all the time in the world, semi-final, cool as you like, slots it away.
Yeah, and to be fair, see that goal, the whole build-up play through that whole goal was brilliant.
Aye.
Even though it was offside, you've got to give credit to, at the end of the day, the players at the time don't know it's offside. So, and the Dundee United players don't know it's offside at the time.
None of them were shouting for it.
Nah, the way that whole goal played was completely fine. Of course, when you look back at it, it was offside, but all I can say that is get it up, everybody, because we absolutely never get decisions like that. It feels like we didn't, because it feels like the world's against us. So we'll take it, and that is such an un-Doige goal, isn't it? You normally Doige will like fucking off his arse or like a scrappy header or something like that, but the way he finished that was absolutely. Oh, it was so good, man. It just was such a good goal.
And Nisbet back heel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The whole goal was just so good. Like, I mean, in a way, it was a shame that folk are like, "Oh, it's offside," because it can kind of take away from it. But I don't think it should take away from it because, like I say, absolutely nobody at the time knew it was offside.
It just had an absolutely brilliant flow to it. And we have got all our main guys now gelling and working together at the business end of the season.
Yeah.
What's not to be happy about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Papa Stu, I mean, it was, yeah, you could say, but it was offside. But at the end of the day, it was a very much a fair reflection on the game. Hibs 2-0 up at that point.
Aye, well, as I was saying about the formation that Dundee United were playing, I was ecstatic. Even drunk at the time, but I was ecstatic when they changed because Mellor changed it to a 3-5-2 to match us up, and I love that because that gave us room in behind their three. So that's when Boyle came into the game because we actually had the space rather than playing our three playing into their four. And when he changed to match up with us, that's when we were all over them more.
Yeah.
So that's when Boyle started. Oh, that run that he had. Boyle was absolutely fantastic the last probably 25 minutes.
Yeah.
When I'm doing my pre-match notes, I kind of sometimes write a couple of players, like just maybe 2 or 3 players to kind of have talking points off the back on their performances. And then I realised I'd got to 6 and had to stop because I wanted to write more names. But I mean, Stuart, let's have a chat about Hallberg. Obviously, we were kind of worrying about Gogic being suspended, and I think I seen it on social media. Somebody said he strolled it. Would you agree with that?
100%. That has to have been his best performance in a Hibs shirt. And did we really need a sitting midfielder against Dundee United? No, you want someone who wants to push forward. He had a bloody good shot on in the first half as well. And you know what? Yeah. It's something threatening that we've not really seen from Gogic. He offers something different. We're not sitting here saying Gogic and Hallberg are the same type of player. They've both got their role to play, but there was a few people on social media beforehand seeing Hallberg's name on the team sheet going, oh no, really? There was talk online, let's move Porteous up there, let's move Stevenson up there. Not for me. You had Hallberg going in there, and it was just absolutely perfect. Stuck to his role brilliantly. Well done him, well done Jack Ross.
Yeah, Dave, I mean, it's, Jack Ross spoke about, somebody coming in for Gogic. It was well kind of knew it was going to be Hallberg and kind of taking their opportunity. He's definitely given Jack Ross a headache ahead of Aberdeen, which we're going to discuss later.
Yeah, and to be fair, I said for so long that there was probably something there. It felt like a Slivka type player, didn't he?
I've heard a lot of that Slivka 2.0.
Aye.
I think sometimes a
And-
player that's kind of maybe got something, but we might not see it, and he'll pull it
Aye.
out.
Or we see it sometimes, and then sometimes we didn't, and then he
Yeah.
goes a bit quiet, and you're like, nah, but there's something there. It could be a squad player. And it feels like he's been that type of player. And he went away from that, in my opinion, to being not, he's probably not got enough, and we should probably get rid. And then he goes and has a game like that, and I'm like, we should probably keep him. And it just feels like that's what he's been. So I hope in the next few games, because he's earned his place now, but see, what he needs to do is he needs to earn his worth and then keep it, rather than earning it and then being like folk like thinking he's decent enough and then maybe gone away for that point of view.
Reedy 16 saying Gogic has to work to get his place again. Halberg starts for me on Wednesday. Papa,
Correct.
your thoughts on Halberg?
Yeah, correct. By the way, and did you notice that Halberg took just about every free kick and corner?
Aye.
He was on all the set plays. And another thing, he got by the first man. Did you see? I hope I'm talking right here. His corners, every corner he was taking were away at the back post.
Aye, the first guy
He was always playing away.
but aye.
Was how many times have we moaned about wee Boiler? There must have been a time that at training they must have said, right, you're on the set plays, which is crazy because that's not his game. But they put Halberg on all the set plays yesterday. And I would say probably about 90% of the balls that he put into the box or whatever, it reached there, and it was a great ball. So I thought he was a man of the match for me, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think that was what was great yesterday. There was so many. You could say there was a good 3 or 4 you easily could have said were man of the match. For me, Irvin as well was in with a shout. Nisbet, obviously, Halberg.
See, the thing is, Stuart, in a semi-final, as you know, just about 6 or 7 players, I would say, have got to turn up. They've got to turn up in the semi-final, because if they don't... How many times have we played in quarters and semi-finals? Mostly semis. Our players haven't turned up. Maybe 1 or 2. It's not enough. You've got to have 6 or 7 out of 11 it's playing to turn up, and that's when you'll ease through to the final. But that's never happened a lot of the times that we've been playing in semi-finals. They've never turned up. But yesterday, you could have named about 3 or 4 man in the matches.
Yeah. The next name I had to kind of talk about was Irvin, but we've already kind of touched on him and how big a sort of player he's been. And the next one was I wanted to have a mention for Doig. Dave, 18-year-old, obviously just won the Young Player of the Year award, very fitting. But I mean, I was so impressed. There was like times in the 85th minute where he's been really calm on the ball, taking his time, not just punting it away. He was being really composed, and it was really just a mature and disciplined performance from an 18-year-old.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know when you're talking about, because he had the ball on the line. Yeah. And he could have just hoofed it up the park and that, but no, he took it under control and was playing with it in like a tight space, and that's the type of play you see for experienced players, and no for somebody as young as that would maybe just lash and panic at it, but he didn't. And I honestly think on our hands, obviously we've got a decent player because he's won Young Player of the Year, but I think we've got somebody that could probably earn the club quite a few bob.
You know what I said yesterday, Dave? To Taylor, went, Hearts must be kicking themselves.
Fuming.
100%.
How can they let a fucking laddie go?
Like that, go. And I know they had Aaron Hickey, and so folk are like, oh, but Aaron Hickey when they got a game.
Hickey back at the time.
Aye, yeah, I know.
Well, let's be honest, he's gone from being released, effectively, to 18 months later, probably about 18 months, 2 years later, is now Young Player of the Year, into the Cup final, played, 33 games for us this season?
Something like that, no.
Absolutely crazy, yeah. He's not there just holding his place because we've only got anything else better.
Nah.
He's come in and he's earned it, and he deserves where he's got, and he deserves the plaudits he's getting.
Hey, another thing, he's taken the place of our longest serving player.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but Stevenson isn't finished. There's a lot of guys out there that say Stevenson, he's past it now. No, he's not. No. He comes on and he will, show up, because sometimes Doig can get a wee bit, maybe a wee bit tired because it's been a hard slog. He's been up and down the wing, and they bring on Stevenson. Stevenson's still a great player, but he's took his jersey. Now you've got to give Jack Ross his plaudits there as well, because Jack Ross is actually given that young laddie. He could have chucked him really under the bus and put him in there, and he could have had a couple of bad games, and that laddie would never come back again from that, being so young. But I'm telling you, that laddie's going to be one of our best players. But as Dave said, he's going to make money for us rather than, he's not going to be the longest serving player like Stevenson, because he'll be away. He's too good.
Yeah.
And we've got him for another 4 years. Thanks very much. Good work by the club. Signed him up. No one's going to be able to just come in and snipe him for cheap bucks.
Nah.
Thank you.
Yeah, really excited about seeing another couple of seasons, potentially another couple of seasons at Hibs, and seeing him grow even more. Whether he continues to develop as a left back, potentially has games at centre back, or I don't know. It's really exciting. It's usually get excited about strikers and things like that, but it's really exciting. And just like I say, I was so impressed that me and Dave have also remembered that exact same moment. Just seeing it in the 85th minute, 2-0 up in a Scottish Cup semi-final, and just to be so composed, it was just honestly.
You know what I would like, Gav, is a club down England that want to take him, give us part money, but give us him back on loan for at least a season, knowing that he's going to get his game and play for a season, so we don't lose him right away.
That's a massive thing in Italy, and I'm surprised it doesn't happen more in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd be completely for that. I think it would be, as long as the money was high money, because I think at the same time I don't want to sell him anytime soon, because I think if he keeps on improving, he'll get in the Scotland squad and his value will go up, and let's get as much as we can, because like say Dave says, could go for a lot of money.
What do you think's unrealistic about them?
Well, I mean, Brown went for what, 4.4 million. So let's
say there was money though.
Let's say 5 million. Why no?
Do you think that's realistic?
I think so.
What I would say about
2 or 3 million, but I think 2 or 3 million, but at the same time, I think that's absolute pennies. Like that to down south is absolute nothing.
Yeah, Leicester,
and it feels like an insult.
Do you not think, guys, that John McGinn's gave Hibs a bigger profile now? That they've actually, I know that it was for St Mirren, but we had them for years.
Not really.
Yeah, well, yeah, but are the clubs now saying, right? Yeah, well, he came for Hibs. They maybe know the St Mirren sort of part of the story, but are they thinking that, right? There's another player. Oh, there's potentially Ryan Porteous as well. And there's another young lad that's coming in at Scottish squad. So they're maybe sort of starting to look at us and look at the young players that we've got, so they know that they're having to get some money. Because John McGinn, as we've spoke about, that's going to go for high. He's going to go for high dough when he does move from Villa. So there's a possible chance.
I go back to Graham Matthew speaking on the podcast. I think it's easy to find episode 100 if you want to go back and listen to it. But he was speaking about John McGinn. How when John McGinn, he says, don't get me wrong, the only person who's made John McGinn who he is John McGinn. And then he went on about, when John McGinn came in, he was a young, skinny laddie, and the nutritionist deserves credit for the work they've done to help him bulk up. The sports scientists, the sports physios, the ones that designed his training program, the sports psychologists can go over the mentality and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that do a lot of work at Hibs that kind of goes unseen that will be doing the same with Josh Doig. So when you're talking about reputation and the work the John McGinn, there's a lot of work going in behind the scenes with Josh Doig, which will benefit Hibs long term in terms of reputation for developing talent. So really exciting. But yeah, other sort of players we kind of touched on Nisbet. I mean, we can go back to sort of previous podcasts. I've got previous notes and stuff of us saying when Nisbet wasn't scoring goals that, we were impressed with the work he was doing off the ball. It was kind of talk about, which came up a few times, Stuart. But John Collins saying that he doesn't do enough when he's not scoring goals. So who knows more about football, us or John Collins?
Well, clearly us. Surely. Right now, we're all employed. What's John Collins doing in football right now? No idea. No, I think it was possibly one of these kind of misquoted throwaway remarks from it. I don't think John Collins is that kind of guy to, belittle a youth player kind of coming through. And for me, it's always that terrible Scottish affliction of a player. If they're not running around like a headless chicken, they're not doing enough. Well, no, why? Why do they need to be doing that? They could easily just be conserving for the right time so they do have that burst of pace. There's no point in having someone, all right, he ran about for 65 minutes and now he's no use to us. What's the point in that there?
I think that he does. See, we're watching the TV, remember, and so's John Collins watching the TV. And I've always said it to you guys, you've got to be sitting in your seat at the stadium, and if you want to watch a player just to see what he's doing, forget about the ball, watch a player and see the work rate. Nisbet and Doidge up top, the work that they two do is incredible. Doidge as well. But Nisbet runs into channels, he comes short, he lays it off. Like that wee one, people probably didn't even notice that wee back heel that he done until you seen the replay that to the second goal. He actually came short, just a wee touch and on it Boyle. So he's doing work. And for John Collins to say that about a player, keep your end remarks to yourself, mate, because as Stuart said, what are you doing? You try to be a manager and you're no manager now. So you were good, you were a fantastic player, but you're never a manager, and you've just knocked one of the most crump coming centre forwards for Scotland, and you're knocking them. Just shut up.
I'll be absolutely baffled as Nisbet isn't in the Euro squad for Scotland.
Oh, especially with the extension.
He scored 18 goals this season.
Yeah.
Aye.
And
has to be.
He played for Dunfermline just a year and a half ago.
There's always going to be the question mark, all right, you've bought a player from a lower league team. Can they step up? He's answered that. There's no doubt about it whatsoever.
Yeah. I spoke to one of my clients who's a really big Dunfermline supporter. And he says to me, he says, honestly, you've got him on the cheap. He says, he'll score goals for fun. And he went through a wee blip. Why? He lost his dad, the lad. And he went through a dip because, hey, he was going through a hard time. He never came back from that hitting the bar and that penalty in the semi-final against Hearts. That was since then he's formed that, but he's came back stronger in my opinion.
Aye.
That goal yesterday would have done the world of good.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, brilliant. Like Nisbet's been fantastic, even with that dip, still a fantastic first season. And the fact he scored 18 with a dip in the middle is just brilliant testament to him. I just got a couple more I'll quickly run through. I mean, Murphy, I've been a critic of Murphy in the past. I think he's sometimes a bit too predictable, cutting on his right foot, but very direct, very impactful, a good player coming off the bench. And Doidge, goal in every round. Let's keep it going. Let's get a goal in the final, and I will need to get somebody to look up, see if that's been done before. Apparently Keith Wright done it in the League Cup, but scoring in every round and then winning the cup. But it'll be interesting to see if anybody's done it, not just at Hibs but in Scotland, every round of the Scottish Cup and then won it, because he's on course to do it. So fingers crossed for him. But yeah, I mean, Dave, a lot of stuff beforehand about like from doing the press conference and stuff. A lot of the questions that Jack Ross was getting asked was about the mentality and if they lose another semi-final and all this sort of stuff. And I mean, you were seeing it in the reactions. He'll be so relieved, and the squad definitely stepped up in terms of mentally.
Yeah, there will be a lot of relief. Whether they admit it or no is another thing. But if we had not won that yesterday, whether it had been down to bad luck or anything else, it would have been put down to Hibs bottling it. Let's face it. It would have been at Hibs it. But we won it. And so that needs to be the mentality going forward. And it comes for the quarter final as well. Like, where we lost a 2-goal lead to Motherwell and folk were like, oh, you've Hibsed it. Then we went on, then won it. It's like we have got it, and folk can say what they want, but we've got it in ourselves to change that perception of Hibs as a football club, and the fans have got it in themselves as well. So, say if we go into the final positive and feeling positive in that, then that'll go into the players. It certainly would if we were there. As a fan, it certainly would, right? But they can only see the online presence now, and like we can only do what we can do as a support, but we need to feel positive, and we need to get rid of that bottling tag, because it's in a lot of ways it is unjustified, because at the end of the day we've got Hibs as a club that have reached 4 cup finals in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something which we hadn't, it's like 50 years, we'd only reached 3 in the 50 years before that.
So 4 cup finals in 10 years, right? For a club outside Old Firm, and we're getting told we're bottlers. Ram it. Do you know what I mean? Like that is a ridiculous statement. Aye.
As you said earlier, Dave, it's just been luck. We've had bad luck going into semi-finals and finals. And, you know, and there's that offside goal. You know, it was a well-worked... It was good enough to actually give them the benefit of doubt for half a yard or so. But we got luck. If we didn't get the goal, we'd have still beat them 1-0. So I don't know what they're moaning, some of them are moaning about, but we've got to be positive. As you say, let's get in there and fucking go to play against St Johnstone and just ram them.
Yeah.
I think we can be confident without being arrogant and cocky. We're just wanting to say, we're behind the team, we are going to do this. All right, we might not have done the best against St Johnstone recently, but we've been the masters of our own come down there. We have definitely got it in our system to beat them. Man for man, I'm going to say it, we are a better team.
Yeah, we're favourites.
Well, that's not according to the BBC.
No, but we're favourites, right? We're favourites, and Kevin, we should do, and we should start doing as a Hibs support. We should embrace the favourite tag, and we should stop saying we're no favourites because we don't like being favourites, or we're no favourites because we bottled it in the past. We should just grab the favourite tag and be like, Kevin, fuck it, we are favourites, and show every cunt we are favourites.
I always hate that when they say. It's almost like a standard lazy journalist question. Oh, you're going into the cup finals favourites. What do you want the manager to say that? Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're going to absolutely go out and fuck them. They're not going to say that. It's always going to be a bit of a play down, but let's be confident. Dave, you hit the nail absolutely on the head, mate. Let's get behind the team. Let's be positive out there. St Johnstone haven't done anything that in the games that I've watched that makes me think, oh, Christ, we're not playing Rangers here coming off a potentially unbeaten domestic league season. We're not playing Man City. We're not playing Barcelona. It's St Johnstone. That's the bottom line
St
of it.
Johnstone.
And there'll be another thing as well, Stuart. The players, the captain will have been speaking to the gaffer, and the gaffer he talked to the board that there's a chat about £3 million, you know, that Hibs are going to potentially earn plus £3 million plus. Now, captain goes to the gaffer and tell the gaffer that he's looking for with the team X, and they'll be looking for about at least 10 grand bonus each to win that final, the squad, right? So that's what they'll be telling them. They'll be wanting that as a player. So that'll be a big incentive as well, is to get a big bonus, because that's a lovely bonus to these players, because, you know, a lot of them only on, you know, we're not high earners. So to get maybe 10 grand to win the Scottish, or maybe more, I don't know, but that's another thing.
I don't know if you heard. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that Egypt, Derek McInnes, at the start of the game, going on about players won't be thinking about win bonuses and things like that. Oh. They'll just want to. Yeah, good one, mate. Come on. We're not saying that. At the end of the day, all players are practically their mercenaries. They'll go where the money is and things like that. But
are you telling me that Derek McInnes gets told, you know, he's going in, if you get in the top 3 in Europe? At the start of the season, if you get us in the top 3, we'll give you 100 grand bonus. You know,
he's not interested in that. Clearly,
aye. I'm watching the game here, Arsenal and West Brom. Why is Big Sam here? Why Sam? Because he'll be said, if you keep us up, we'll give you a couple of £1 million. It's all about money and the prestige of winning, but it's about money. And you telling me that's what I'm saying, as Dave's saying, get in there, be the favourites, go on positive, and get your wee win bonus and go on holiday. That's what you want to do.
Jack Ross spoke at the gym quite a bit about changing that mentality and not accepting draws, not accepting, defeats or it's a good away to St Johnson, I got a point, it's a good no, he wants to win every game, and he was a bit surprised that that mentality was in place, and he spoke about changing that, and that's that winning mentality is maybe sort of taking a bit to kind of come through, but I think that as the season's going on, and as folk forget this is Jack Ross's first full season. He was Heckingbottom for half a season last season. His first full season, it's seen that getting more and more and more, and I think the fact that our best run of form has came towards the end of the season shows that mentality is getting more and more engraved in once Jack Ross is getting more and more players in and getting everyone into the right system. And we're hitting form at the right time of the season, like everyone's saying. But yeah, there was a lot of questions about Jack Ross. I know a lot of people saying Jack Ross out ridiculously after the St Johnstone result in the League Cup semi-final. But I'll come to all these on this, but we should. It's like mathematically, we should secure third either on Wednesday night or next weekend. Potentially something to cheer on Rangers, but we'll get it done on Wednesday. We'll come back to that. But third in the league, and let's go for it. A Scottish Cup final. Stuart, best season in your recent memory? Or ever that you can think of?
It kind of has to be, isn't it? 2 semi-final appearances, obviously now into the final. Third, the football might not have been quite what we've always wanted to see at times, but you hit the nail on the head there. The turnaround from what he inherited from Heckingbottom has been absolutely fantastic. I think that this season kind of has to be up there with the 2000-2001 season or the last full season under Lennon. But the last full season under Lennon, because we went on that great run towards the end, probably puts a little bit of the rose-tinted specs on it.
Stuart, Jack Ross, we were floating above relegation when he came in, right? He nearly got us to the top 6. He just missed out, right? We're guaranteed at least 4th, possibly the 3rd, and then getting into Europe, right? After Wednesday, if we got a point against Aberdeen. We've reached the Scottish Cup semi-final, the League Cup semi-final, and now the Scottish Cup final. So what are folk wanting? We're Hibs. We're no Barcelona. You know what I mean? We're doing great. And having a manager like that, or do you want a manager like Heckingbottom who couldn't buy a win?
Yeah. Our achievements are well above Celtic this year. Put it that way.
Great.
All right, they're above us in the league, but let's be honest, pound for pound, I know what team I'd be wanted to support this year.
Does it show that they're better away from home? But Hibs have came good when they've never had any fans in front of them.
I've always said Hibs fans are the problem, right from word one.
Yeah.
There's
always some midget screaming at one of the players.
It's normally one of us, though. That's the problem.
You mentioned the 2001 season. Obviously, we got to the Scottish Cup final. We got beat by Celtic though that day, and we came third. Obviously, a brilliant Hibs team, but I think this one, if they win the cup, I think it's a better season. But I think we will win a cup, so I think it's going to be a better season. Stuart, you obviously hate to bring it up. You're a bit older. Can you remember a more successful season if we do finish third and get the Scottish Cup?
Well, I keep on saying it, and every time I won, I'm like a bloody broken record. But 72, 73, 74 was when Hibs had, Herrick, Brownlee, Shadler, Stanton, Blackley, Duncan, Gordon, all that. That's the team, and that was when they were playing in Europe every season, Gav, in the 70s. So yes, but football was totally different then. There was a lot of good players, but never had the offside, kind of like the offside rule the way it is now. Like, I know we've not got VAR here, but it was getting in there and it was hard tackles. Christ, have you seen if you watch a video of hard tackles all the way back in the 70s, man, you'd be no, they'd be getting sent off. Well, these players. So it was a different game then, but that's my memories, because the 80s were shit. Hibs had a terrible in the 80s. Hibs had a terrible getting hammered for Hearts for 10 years. But and then it sort of came good 90s. but and then got worse again. But no, I think this is one of the best I've seen for a long time.
And for me, what we're seeing right now is longevity. We've got something that we're actually building towards. I can't see Jack Ross's head getting turned by anyone else. He's done the down south thing. Didn't work out for him at Sunderland. He's gone away. He's learned from that. And I think he's kind of found a happy home. And as long as he kind of continues to get the support and the backing of the boards, we can build something here. We genuinely can.
Dave, you're the sort of similar age to myself. I was sort of speaking to Jordan from BBC doing an article, and he was asking me about it. And I sort of said, I think if we do win the Scottish Cup, which I believe we do, and secure third, this will be the best season in my lifetime in the 31 years. Would you agree with that, or can you think of a better season?
Nah, I think it'll be the best achievement-wise, but I still think the most significant season will be when we first ever won it. But
yeah,
I can't tell you why that means more, but it just means more because it was the first time.
Yeah.
So
I understand it'll mean more, but in terms of like as a success for the club.
Yeah. Finishing third and winning the Scottish Cup the same season's never happened. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, the best that will ever happen. I'm not saying will ever happen, but big Ron's in the scene. Do you know what I mean? He said there's no ceiling to our ambition as a club. So if we win the Scottish Cup and finish third, and he's saying there's no ceiling, then where are we going? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, we got to the moon.
We've got to the moon.
We've spoken about it a million times, but I think European football until Christmas would be massive. I think, especially if fans are back properly from August, which I don't know what the situation currently is. I know in America they're set to UFC had 15,000 fans, full seater and stuff. So maybe there's the hope of things coming back. But anyway, the thought of going to European games. Even the home games, I know Stuart's getting his passport out there, and
I actually went and checked my passport to see if it was a date. I didn't do that when I was booking my holiday that was meant to be this year, but I checked it when I found out that Hibs were guaranteed European football.
Have you got an Azerbaijan passport, have you?
That's exactly.
I'm sure I got my passport ready for Berlin, and then we got put out on penalties. The draw came through, and I was like, and I was confident we were going to win. I don't know why.
Sweden away.
I mean, Brøndby, like I say, I was watching the Brøndby game here, and then it was the next round was Berlin, Hertha Berlin, and I was convinced I was going to that. But of course, I was
away in New York with my wife then. I was watching the game on my phone while checking in New York in the Hilton. And my wife was just, because it wasn't understanding why I was watching this on my phone. It's like, it's women, eh? What can you say? Sorry, very sexist. No, there's some fantastic female Hibs fans out there that definitely do understand. My wife is not one of them.
Okay. So I got quite a go around then, just yes or no. Dave, are we winning the Scottish Cup?
Yes, we are winning the Scottish Cup.
Stuart?
Fuck yes.
Papa Stu?
Defo, we're going to do it this time.
Fucking course we are. We're winning the Scottish Cup, boys!
Aye, and I'll tell you why, because St Johnstone are going to go into it and they think that they've got the better of us. There you go.
That's happening.
Here, Gav, keep talking. I'm going for a pee. I'm absolutely fucking bursting, mate. I can't even I can't concentrate. I'm that bursting. Just keep talking.
Right, well, we'll do the next section without you. So yeah, let's sort of keep the positivity going. We're getting really excited about the Scottish Cup final. Next bit of business is about the fact that Hibs are getting their business done early. Obviously, the news came out about Macy, about sort of Marciano leaving. Macy had came in, and I don't know what the sort of deal was, whether it was a sort of let's see how things fit, but he's now signed a 2-year deal. I mean, let's start with Macy. Let's have a chat about that first. Stuart, your thoughts on Macy looking like being our number one next season?
You know, I'm absolutely delighted by it. Been pleased with what I've seen. We didn't really touch on Macy's contributions yesterday. Fantastic low down save to Shanklin. The one that Robson hit in the second half that I think it just went wide, but from the replay, I think he had it covered. And
definitely. And
for me, you heard it a couple of times, obviously, with no crowd and things like that. He's a vocal keeper. I love a vocal keeper. And this isn't me bashing Rocky. Rocky's been a fantastic servant of the club. He goes with my good feeling, considering some of the absolute donkeys we've had between the sticks in our lifetime. Rocky is definitely going to be one of the better ones that we kind of look back fondly on. But Macy being vocal, you were hearing him shouting keeper, mine, everything like that. Absolutely fantastic. The boy's undefeated in a Hibs shirt. That's not a bad thing.
I was watching the game with my partner, and I'm no sexist. I can see that women can actually make some good points, Stuart, unlike you. And she said about the fact that he's really tall, but that's only so good if you can be agile as well. And she was really impressed with it when he got down and made the save at the near post. She was like, it's great having that height, but then if you can't back up with it and get down quickly. So really impressed with his agility. Stuart, I mean, I think Kevin Dabrowski recently signed a new deal as well. That looks like our two keepers next season. Do you see potentially Big Kev being like the cup keeper like Macy has been this season?
Aye, I think that's how it's going to go. Macy's, I just can't believe how we've got him. I didn't understand it. How he must. I know he says he loves playing at Easter Road. Playing for the Hibs. I just didn't understand how we've got that guy from Arsenal. It looks a goalie. There's sometimes you get goalies that they're just no. I love a tall goalkeeper, and he comes out, commands his box. I just think he'll go strength to strength because he's only played a handful of games. And once he's the number one, once Marciano's away, he's the number one, and then Kev Dabrowski's in. I think it'll be. I really do. I think. I think he's one of the best keepers I've seen coming out of Hibs for a long time.
Yeah.
Considering the goalkeeping problems Arsenal are having right now,
I know.
He just walked out the door. I'm not saying Macy's going to be the number one keeper at Arsenal in the top 5 of the Premier League, but they're hardly having an embarrassment of riches down there in the goalkeeping stakes, are they?
No, I don't understand. I just can't believe how from Arsenal you come to Hibs. You would think he might have went to top of the Championship or something, a top team there, to a Norwich or something like that. But no, to Hibs from, it's weird. But Chris take him, and I've got a 2-year contract.
Right.
So someone did their homework in the recruitment, obviously asked the right questions. The famous Jack Ross sales pitch to come to Hibs, it's worked.
Aye, brilliant.
And the last thing on the keeper, Dave. I mean, last year when Marciano went into his last year's contract, we spoke about somebody we need to sign to a new deal. If you'd said to us that at the beginning of May, that Marciano will be leaving and we'll still have a tick box in terms of the position being sorted for next season, wouldn't you believe you? Would you?
Nah, we're in a quite fortunate position. The fact that we've got Macy and Dabrowski, I'd say we're quite satisfied.
Or is it well planned out? And credit's got to go to the club.
It's well planned. But at the same time, and I don't know if I'm being too harsh on Dabrowski, that I would question his ambition. What age is he?
He's only young.
22, 23, yeah.
And you're at kind of that age and you're still happy being a number two. Whether it's just the fact that he's got a dead loyalty to Hibs, and I hope that that's what is the case, and that he wants to be a number one at Hibs and break through there.
Well, he's been here since 16-year-old, Dave.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, I think that the fact that we've got a number two that's never played first team goalkeeper, if I was to be extremely picky, but I'm obviously very happy because he was decent when he went out on loan, wasn't he? Yeah. So,
well, think about what Hearts have had. Think about what Hearts have got. They've got a Bobby Zalamal as their second, I believe third. An old shitey keeper. He's
everybody's second goalkeeper, though.
Aye, but we've got a young laddie who they've nurtured. He's been away to Cowdenbeath, Dumbarton, on loan, and he's now at 22, 23, whatever he has. He's now a goalkeeper can go to 36-year-old easy. If they look after their body, they're not running about daft. So. I just think that the lads, I think he's been nurtured and looked after at Easterwood.
It's almost a shame we've got European football, because otherwise we'd have been playing the League Cup group stages and we'd have been getting Dabrowski in for those games.
Yeah.
Dave, we were speaking about this when you were at the toilet. Do you think Dabrowski could be the cup keeper next season like Macy has been this season? That way he's getting game time and he's also ready to come in if there is an injury or a drop in form for Macy.
Yeah, I hope so because I think it does. When you get to that age, you do need to start being a number one because when you get to the age of 25-year-old and you've never been a number one anywhere, then you've got to be like, meh, is it going to happen or are you at too high a level?
But Macy's what,
If you're being
26,
okay picky,
27 until he's been a number one? Just been a number one first time now?
is that the first time he's been a number one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, I would say, in my opinion, and it's not an expert opinion at all, and people's opinion will vary.
You've
I
been
think,
doing this for 3 years, you're an expert.
yeah, fuck it, I'm an expert. Let's own it. I know what I'm talking about, and I think when you get to that age, I think it is more that Macy becoming a number one at 26 is more an anomaly than it being a common occurrence.
I'm sorry, but what on earth's happening on this group? Hibs have had a great performance. We're going to win the cup. Dave's an expert. This podcast is going to hell in a handcart, honestly.
I've been an expert for absolute donkeys, mate. That's why Gav recruited me. He was like, see, back in the day, he was like, I want to start a Hibs podcast. And a Hibs podcast doesn't exist. I was like, well, I'm an expert when it comes to talking about football, so I'll join you. It absolutely was not the case of, look, I'm your pal, I'll help you until you get gone and then I'm off of here. I was always keen.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, great bit of business about Macy and obviously Dabrowski a few weeks ago, which I'm sure we touched on. But yeah, and again, Hibs, like say, getting the business done early. The topic of this left winger from Inverness, gets Daniel Mackay. He is the youngest goal scorer for Inverness, 16 years and 174 days. Had a loan spell at Elgin, full season in the 2019-2020 season, and this season he's scored 12 goals for Inverness, 9 coming in the league. Stuart, excited by this signing?
It seems to be an excellent one on paper. It was a position that Jack Ross has identified as we're wanting to strengthen up there, which is good. I hold my hands up. I haven't seen much of him, but his goal that he scored against Ross County in the Cup, guy's got lightning pace and seems very comfortable with the ball at both feet. So, and I believe our neighbours were also after him, but guess what? Welcome to the green and white, mate.
Stuart, you mentioned about a Dunfermline. Papa Stu, you mentioned about a Dunfermline fan saying about how good Nisbet was and stuff. A lot of Inverness fans, when the news was coming out, the Hibs were interested. Oh no, he's too good for Hibs. He's not going to go to Hibs. It does seem that they were expecting him to go a lot higher than Hibs. It seems he's a real prospect and another like Nisbet, another exciting one from the Championship.
Yeah, and also I was watching him against Morton when I was watching my son-in-law. And he scored a cracker, and he was running riot in that game. I didn't know anything about him. Hadn't even been mentioned it for Hibs then, because this was maybe about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and he hadn't been spoken about. And I was just wondering. I thought, who's that lad? And I first of all, when I heard Mackay for Inverness, I thought it was
Billy Mackay.
Billy Mackay. Aye, but he went to, did he not go to Ross County, I think? I can't remember if he moved. But I thought it was him that they were talking. They kept on saying Mackay, and I thought it was him. And then when I looked at him, I thought, that's not him. But the guy was brilliant. So, we've got a good young player coming through, and, that's... Hibs are actually... See, they're probably looking at it because we are getting, like, Boyle's getting older. Maybe wants a move as well. You never know. So we're making sure that we've got players in for the actual, young players coming through for the players that might be going out. Yeah. Same as Porteous.
Aye. Like I say, I'm really excited by this. Exciting. I think it's great that we've sort of tapped into that market again. I think he's a similar signing to Nisbet in terms of another young, exciting. I actually a bit younger than Nisbet was, but exciting young player from the Championship that maybe less pressure to step up immediately, but I think there will be scope for him to do it. But yeah, I think a great bit of business. And the last one here is the reports today. A couple of different reports. Reports coming out about Jason Kerr of St Johnstone. Reports saying that we're going for him. Other reports saying we're only going for him if we accept a bid for Porteous. I mean, obviously, I don't want to write him off, but Darren McGregor's getting a bit older. Dave, is Jason Kerr somebody you'd like to see come in regardless of whether Porteous leaves?
Yeah, because he would improve the Not just the squad, he would improve the first team. He would slot into that first team now, whether it would be whether Porteous is there or not, in my opinion.
But I think you had to look at Dan McGregor coming on the last 15 minutes yesterday. He's still Dan McGregor. The guy is an absolute Spartan. He's phenomenal, and I wouldn't be put off by him kind of being in the starting lineup for that cup final. That's all. He can still do it.
Papa Stu, I mean, a big Hibby apparently. Jason Carey, definitely a great bit of business, wouldn't he?
Aye, that's the lad from Pennycook.
Yeah.
And Taylor Malady, he knows, there's all his mates, and there's about 30 of them, and they're all sort of intermingled, and he knows of them. Aye, good player. As you say, being a Hibby, he could be another Dan McGregor. He could become that player. And see, when you're talking about Dan McGregor, guys, do you not think that was fantastic? He came on. Porteous got injured, and he comes in, and I thought he just shored up everything at the back every time the ball came through. And for his youth, 34-year-old, and coming on and playing like that, it's great.
Aye.
But no, that Jason Kerr, I think that'll be a great signing if we get him.
How old's Jason Kerr? 26, 27?
Yeah, I'll double check.
He should be about that, because about 27-year-old, aye.
So again, you can easily get 4 or 5 years without breaking a sweat from a defender of that age.
Aye.
I'm trying to do math. He's only 24.
He's
24.
Is he? Jeez,
Yeah, he's only 24.
24? Oh, so he's younger then.
We'll get a decade from him then, no problem. Aye. And going into the last year's contract, no idea how much St Johnstone are going to be after. But
sweeties.
On Dan
McGregor, he's
see,
travel all the way up to the tractor country, all the time, up to Perth for Pennycook.
That's a long drive. That
he would do anything probably to get to Hibs. He'd jump through hoops probably.
M8 and broken glass if he goes the wrong way direction.
I tell you.
Top Kenny's saying great hair on Daz. I noticed that as well. I actually paused it because my partner was upstairs and coming back down. I paused it when Darren McGregor was coming on as a sub, and I said, "Look, we've got a Hollywood movie star coming on," because he's just, I think he's I'm comfortable to say it. He's a really gorgeous guy, and with this long locks of hair as well. I think Darren McGregor's just love him a bit.
My wife genuinely misses the Daily Darren that they used to do. I think he could get a calendar on his own right. That would be a top seller, absolutely.
As long as half of them are topless. Dave?
I said that to my girlfriend last night. I was like, look at him coming on. I was like, he's an absolute specimen of a man. And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, are you having a laugh? And then I said to her, I was like, well, we knew. I was like, do you think that I'm better looking than him? And she was like, well, yeah. And I was like, you're a liar. You're an absolute barefaced. You're lying to my face right now, and as much as I respect it, it's just so false. I don't trust it anymore. Yeah, I'm watching her.
There's a couple of times with things like that where Becca's went, yeah, but they're not bald, and I'm like, you lying bastard, you're just saying that lying. For my self-esteem.
So there's definite trust issues now in my relationship, because there's no way, I can see it as plain as day. Dan McGregor is I'm very straight, but Dan McGregor would turn me in a second.
Aye, he's aye.
Would you give up your bulls, Dave?
Was it?
Would you give up your bulls?
I would give up my bulls. I'd give up N, quite a lot for Dan McGregor. I'm not gonna lie. What would make my day with N if he would just come and have a bulls date with me, and then I'd be fine.
There was a few players went off yesterday with injuries, like Nisbet, for example, Newell, and obviously and that's why McGregor came on. Like Stuart said, if he does play the Scottish Cup final, I wouldn't be stressed at all. I'd be really happy about it. I think Porteous and Hanlon their partnership's getting better and better and more stronger. But yeah, if he did play, I'd be really excited. So I just want to have a quick chat now on the topic of these defenders. This will segue quite nicely. So this topic is leave my centre backs alone, because this actually came from it's a lot on social media, but also my dad. So if you're listening, Dad, this is partly to do with you. So when the mistake, we didn't do a podcast last week. I was on night shifts, and we need to get better at doing them without me. Porteous' mistake against St Johnstone. My dad said, ridiculous, too many mistakes. We'll be lucky if we get $1 million from now. I don't know what people expect. We're Hibs, and we're brilliant. We're going to finish third. We're going to win the Scottish Cup. But players at Hibs make mistakes. That's why they're at Hibs. Paul Hanlon makes mistakes and that's why he's been at Hibs his whole career. Ryan Porteous makes mistakes and he's 21. I think people forget that because he's played a lot of games. He's only 21 and he's going to make more mistakes. But the thing is, he'll learn from them and he'll get better. And he's still headed for high things. Maybe I'm being too. And maybe we're part of the problem because we overanalyze every sort of defensive mistake and say, oh, it's no good enough. And we're part of the problem, but fuck it, I'm still going to do a podcast. But I've seen a lot of discourse about, I've seen it a lot about Hanlon in the past, which I think's ridiculous, and about Porteous the last week after the St Johnstone game. Dave, am I being too loyal to my boys?
In a way, yes, but in a way, no, because I like when defenders try and play because that's what I liked about Effie. Mm-hmm. So I was quite a big fan of the fact that Effie was calm, composed, and I felt like Effie started a lot of attacks because he didn't just hoof the ball up the park. And that's one of the criticisms I've got to Paul Hanlon. He does a lot of either clipped balls up the line or just balls into the final third. And ironically, that's where our first goal came from yesterday, was like a long ball at the park. So they do obviously work at times, but quite a lot of the times I criticise them and I feel that they're a waste of space. So the fact that he did try and play out from the back, you can criticise it because it didn't go well, but at the same time, that goes well. And it's happened so many times tonight, so many times this season, that Porteous will do like a wee fancy flick or turn and be really composed, and everybody wets themselves because they're like, oh, that was brilliant for Porteous. The fact that when they come off, it stands out. And that's the problem. A misplaced pass for a centre-half is a different story for a misplaced pass for Jackson Irvine, for example, who would do it 3-4 times a game. Porteous can only afford to do it once, and it becomes a big deal.
It's the same as a goalkeeper making a mistake, Dave.
Yeah.
Makes one mistake, could lose the game.
Yeah.
It's the same as a centre-half. Porteous, one mistake, lost us the game. Now, that point against St Johnstone we could have been third, right?
Yeah.
That point. Now, Porteous, I really, really like the player, right? But he's young and he's going to make mistakes. But the only thing about that is he's got to learn from them. And he's seen on yesterday, he made a couple of wee mistakes. Half time, I think he's got a grilling for the gaffer because he came out and what was he doing? He was just playing the easy ball and he was heading it, as far as he could. He was playing a centre-half role. So I think he's got a right kicking in that changing room when at half time because he just about set the jerseys again yesterday. So a centre-half's got to sometimes just play as a centre-half and clear the ball. But as you say, Dave, it's nice to see them playing a bit of football as well. But there's a time that you've got to clear it.
I think
sometimes it's the keep it simple, stupid. Is the age-old analysis of it. I think what frustrated a lot of people, and certainly frustrated me, about the goal against St Johnstone was he did all the hard work. He tracked O'Halloran down that wing, got the ball off him, and then did that. That was just an absolute. It was just an absolute sucker punch because St Johnstone didn't do anything else for the rest of that game, and that was it. There was a 1-0, one goal. That was it. Porteous is definitely a fantastic player. You are absolutely right, Gavin, saying I think we forget how he is still so young, and he is still learning his craft. No one's coming in for a player at 1.5 million if they're crap. Let's be fair. He is a fantastic player. He just needs to kind of keep his head on, and having someone like McGregor or Hanlon next to him, giving him that guidance day in, day out of the training, and also in games, is going to help improve him as well. And he is just going to keep getting better.
Thing is, a lot of it's something a lot of people a few of you just sort of said now is like, oh, he needs to learn from his mistakes. One of the biggest criticism was his temperament. Oh, he's got too much of a temperament. He goes into too many rash tackles. He gets too many red cards. And he's been credited for that improving this season. So I think there's an example of a young laddie getting feedback and learning from it. He's learning from it. And I think it was encouraging as well. I know what Stuart's saying. I think it was maybe more of a game plan thing about the second half playing more sort of basic. But, the first half he was playing out from the defence. A lot of defenders wouldn't have the balls to do it after a mistake the week before, but he was still doing it and doing it brilliantly. Like I say, that first chance, which Irvin sort of tried to chip it and it kind of went high and wide. I think it was brilliant that he bombed forward and took it past a couple of players. He wasn't fazed by last week. He's still got the cojones to keep going. And yeah, I just think it's a bit unfair, some of the criticism. We weren't able to do a podcast last week, so I wasn't able to stick up for him. So I just wanted to kind of get my 2 pence sitting in no matter. But yeah. Stuart, were you going to say something there? Or Papa Stu, were you going to say something there?
No, I just smiled, mate.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah, honestly, mate, you're right. He's a great player, and you've got to give him, for his age, you've got to just give him time. But he's, as I said, he's got to learn from his mistakes. It's that's the way it goes.
And if he makes the same mistake like 2 times or once next season, then he's not learning from the mistake. He's got to, but I firmly believe this. It's a bad incident that's effectively cost us the game. And I think, we'll not see it happening again. I think that's evidence that he'll be learning from that.
Here, I listened to Pep Guardiola. He was getting interviewed last week. It was after a game. And he turned round and said about his players making mistakes. And he turned round and says that. He says, but I'd rather them make the mistake and the next time they don't. That's what he said. And that's Man City. And you're talking about world-class players. So he said that. So, you've got to let your players, is what Dave said, play a wee bit of football. So what you're saying is, go out there and express yourself, but don't make as many mistakes as what you have been doing, or you'll get a hard time at it. But yeah, he's a fantastic player.
Yeah, aye. So, just wanted to sort of stick up for him a bit, but yeah, echo all those points he's made there. So let's finish up with the Aberdeen preview then. Obviously a big game on Wednesday, Dave. Like say if the St Johnstone game had went our way last week, maybe wouldn't have been as big a game, but still, Todgie's a hard place to go.
Yeah, well, historically it's a hard place to go, but it shouldn't be now, because at the end of the day we are much better than Aberdeen. Aberdeen are in a bad run of form, and we should go into that with full confidence and no go into it with the tag that we might bottle it, which a lot of people are trying to put on us. I've got a few Hearts mates that are like, oh, Hibs going to bottle third? And I'm like, well, nah, probably no. But at the end of the day, we've got that. We can change that attitude now by just going and clinching it. Do you know what I mean? If we get beat off Aberdeen and we go into the last day of the season, level with Aberdeen, and then there's a problem.
Yeah,
I know. So yeah, I hope the feck that doesn't happen. So
no, I don't think there is a problem. Well, it's not an ideal situation to go in, but there is no way in hell Aberdeen are beating Rangers in that last day of the season.
I know, but Stuart,
Celtic beat us.
Stuart, you've got to say though, if we get beat off Aberdeen tomorrow, then Hibs the fact that we've lost off St Johnstone and Aberdeen when we only need 1 point out of those 2 games, then you can have that tag where you've bottled it. Like that could get put us in, and we wouldn't have really a leg to stand on. So we've got to take that out of anybody's hands, and anybody be able to say that, and we've got to be like, take that by the balls, that situation by the balls, and be like, we can win this, and we can gain third through merit rather than scrape over the line because we've lost our way there, but so is their opponents.
What I want to do is win on Wednesday night, which I feel is possible. It is going to happen, and then we can play the under-10s versus Celtic, make sure everybody's wrapped up in cotton wool, put them in a Tupperware box so nobody gets COVID, and we're ready for the cup final. That's it.
Babs, I know it's an easy thing to say, but Todgers is a hard place to go. But Hibs, we're talking about this change in mentality. Hibs can't be going thinking, a point's enough. We need to go and win this game, don't we? Make a statement.
I said to you at the start of the pod, said to you when, like yesterday, I felt so confident, 100%, was Dundee United were gash. I think that's not an Aberdeen side. That's definitely not an Aberdeen side that we are used to. I think we should be, we'll go up there and we'll beat them. It won't be a draw, we'll beat them. And that's me feeling positive again, because what I've seen with Aberdeen playing on the telly, it'd been absolutely shit. Now, they've got to really come good to beat us the way that we're playing now. And I don't think they will. I think we'll go up there and we'll beat them probably 2-0, 2-1.
Right, Gav, Gav, I'm going to go back, right, and I'll go back to the start of February, and we're again at the Aberdeen is a hard place to go, right? So, 2nd of February, Aberdeen play Livy. Livy win 2-0. That's in Aberdeen. 13th of February, Aberdeen play St Mirren 0-0. 20th of February, Aberdeen beat a absolute shit show of a Kilmarnock 1-0. This is before Kyle Lafferty started putting his left foot on his left foot. He was playing with his boots and his running foot for a while. And then 6th of March, so the next home game Aberdeen have, 0-0 with Hamilton. Next Aberdeen home game, draw with Livingston, they win in penalties. Next Aberdeen home game, fine, they draw with Celtic. Next Aberdeen home game, they get beat 3-0 off Dundee United. Aberdeen are just as shit at home as we are. Aberdeen are not a force to be reckoned with, and we should absolutely have no fear of getting up to there and winning, especially when we've got the away from we've got. It shouldn't even be a discussion. We should be getting third wrapped up. If we didn't, it's entirely our fault, and we deserve every tag we get for bottling it if we didn't wrap it up.
At the same time, though, Stuart, I mean, you know, a good result against Livingston. You know, 2-1 win away there. Apparently played very well. But currently, a couple of Livy mates I've got, they were quite impressed with Aberdeen, and especially second half. Said they were a lot better. Is that something we should maybe think about, or just be like the guys are saying?
Are you talking to me or Stuart?
Stuart.
Sorry. Well, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll echo everything what Dave said there.
David?
They're not David Sunday. I don't think that Aberdeen. That's not an Aberdeen side that Derek McInnes had playing well. They honestly they are shit. And you know, Dundee United took 3 off them. Dundee United, who we steamrollered, I thought they took 3 off of Aberdeen at home. But just go up there, go up. I've told you, get in the bus, beat them, get back in the bus, go down and they'll be able to have a few beers come down for Aberdeen because we'll be in Europe. Get the beach buzz out, done. Play against Celtic, enjoy yourself. Stuart said, play some of the players that have not been getting their game, and that's it. It's done. Get ready for the final. Be positive.
What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't go up to Aberdeen and try and settle for a draw, because I think that's probably plays in Aberdeen's hands. They've not been scoring a lot of goals, so see if we go up and have a go at Aberdeen and go 1-0 up in that, fair enough, you might come away with a 1 each in that at the end. But
they've got to come out, Dave, if we
exactly. And that's not what Aberdeen are good at. Aberdeen are good at being ugly. So if we go up and give them an ugly game, then entirely possible that they might end up nicking a result, because that's what they seem to have done over the years. Aberdeen seem to win when they're against Hibs, and they're shite. I never watch Aberdeen and go, oh, they were brilliant, but they finished third of the year.
Aye. Well, they're not this year anyway.
No, but exactly. So take that away from them entirely. Don't give them that opportunity.
See where they're playing that Ratcomberry. They're playing him on number 10, swanning about because he likes to swan about and look at me. I'd fucking hit him the first 5 minutes. I'd put somebody right on him. If maybe Gogic might be playing, I don't know, but whoever it is, Halberg, stick one on him because he thinks he's it. Playing a number 10 role. When was he at 10?
Stuart, we spoke at the start about Dundee United. They kind of getting in Aberdeen's face and getting the ball in behind. Is that something we should maybe try and adapt ourselves, because since it was so successful, or do we just sort of concentrate on the way we've been playing?
I think that's when I always enjoy watching Hibs, when we're at them, when we're swarming around, when we're giving players no time on the ball. Almost like the second half in the cup games that we've had against in the previous rounds as well. That's when we produce our best football. And I echo what the guys have been saying. Aberdeen are no great shakes now. They have got another rebuilding season behind them. Yeah, they've come out the gates signing Gallagher on a pre-contract. They've got Scott Brown coming in. These aren't the type of guys that I would be looking towards to say, this is how I'm going to build a team for the future. Yeah, I would have taken Gallagher, but Scott Brown now, without the protection of being a Celtic player, it's not how I see. It's not how I see him building again. And there's still a big question mark over the top of Glass.
I'd rather have Jason Kerr than have Declan Gallagher personally.
Yeah, well, you've got age, haven't you?
Yeah,
Age gap.
potential.
You know, Declan Gallagher's what age is he?
31. 31.
31. Scotty Brown,
36.
Came what I mean? Nah. I tell you now, we're probably going to end up the third force for a couple of seasons now. The next few seasons,
like that.
my opinion.
That.
Right. Listen, you've got to be positive. Dave, are we going to be positive, mate?
You've got to be, mate. Only us can drive this negative attitude out of Hibs. Well, only us.
Aye.
I mean, only the support. But we're not the support. The fans are not there now, so we've got to do
Can
our
I tell
bit.
you, it's coming for Ron the Con.
Ron the
Like
con.
Ron's a very positive man. All the Americans are. And that's what I want. I want it for the top. I want it to come right down. It'll come right through the club. Because he wants to. What do you say, Dave? He said there's no ceiling, there's no limit for where Hibs can go.
Yeah,
what is it when you watch the American soccer team? They've got that chant, I believe that we will win. Because that's what they've been told all their lives. We're Americans, we're the best thing since sliced bread. And it kind of feeds through into them. They've got that belief. They are 120 miles an hour. No such bad thing as getting that into the club.
Sometimes it's embarrassing listening to me because they're so bloody positive. But it's in a good way, especially in sport.
When I listen to when Ron Gordon speaks, and especially at the AGM and that, right, I think it feels like a breath of fresh air because, like you say, Stuart, he is so positive, and it feels like why is he being so positive? Because us as a nation, and I think it's a dead British thing, we are so negative and we take everything with a pinch of salt, whereas he's like, nah, we're going to do as good as we can. Jack Ross is going to get money. I'm going to put big TVs in the corner, and you're like, so what's the caveat here? Like, what's the
what you did to get this?
Yeah, like what's the? I just keep paying the same season ticket money as last season, and you're going to give me all this? Yes, we are, and then it's all happening. We're getting third. We're getting the big screens. We're fucking winning the Scottish Cup. It's going to happen. We're getting a bar. We're just going to be the best. But not be long, and we'll be Champions League music. Will be Easter Road and Big Ron the Corner. It's going to happen. Well, Super League music.
So we'll finish up with the Aberdeen game there. We'll get everyone's score predictions. Papa, I know you said yours earlier on, but do you want to say it again? Your score prediction for the game?
I'm going to go between 2 and 2-1. I'll go 2-0.
Love it, Dave.
1-0 Aberdeen. We'll bottle it. I'm kidding. That was a shit joke. It's at the back of a penguin. I'm going to say Hibs will win. Hibs will win 2-0. Yeah.
Stuart.
I agree.
Easy. 3-0 to the Hibs. Goal in the first 10 minutes. And that's us. Stalls out. We can enjoy ourselves.
And you, Gav?
3-1 Hibs. I think we're scoring goals now. Deutsch is scoring goals, Nisbet scoring goals, Boyle scoring goals. Jackson Irvin's desperate for another one, so we'll get 3 at least. And
Gav, can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, sure.
Goalkeeper, would you keep Macy in because he's playing in the final, or would you put Marciano back in?
Marciano's a tremendous keeper. I think he plays the last 2 league games. Regardless of what happens, I think Macy plays the cup final. I think Macy will be fine until then. It's a goalkeeper. You don't really need match fitness and stuff. He's got enough match fitness. Obviously, he's playing well enough. But yeah, I'd give Rocky his last couple of games. I'd give him his send off personally.
Agree with that.
Dave.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I wouldn't do it for send off reasons because I don't think we can afford to have sentiment now. I think it would be best interests of the football club at heart, and if we feel that it benefit more from playing Macy in the last few games because he's playing the cup, then I'd be more than happy with that than playing Rocky just because he's leaving.
But then is there not a psychological thing with that? Right now, Macy's undefeated. That is in his mindset. Yeah. Sorry, Stuart, I jumped in there. Mate.
No, that's what I was getting at. I thought, well, Macy is undefeated. I'm thinking, right, do we just keep him in? Because he's going to be number one. As Dave said, sentiment, it's about winning. And Rocky is a very good goalkeeper, and I've loved him all his years that he's been at Hibs. However, we're moving on. We've got a new number one from next season. However, he's been playing well.
Yeah.
My opinion.
I wouldn't be disappointed if Macy retained his place, but I think Rocky will. Jack Ross has said that. I don't think he's wanting to go back in his word. He said Jack Ross will play the league. Jack Ross will play the league games. Marciano will play the league games. So I think he will stick to that. But yeah. So we'll finish up there, guys. What you guys got planned for the rest of the night, Dave?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my dinner and then feck no.
Oh, sleep.
Probably. I'm
go for his missus' phone to find out that she's been messaging Dan McGregor.
Yeah.
Sure, your plans for the night?
Get some dinner, mate. Get ready for tomorrow. My diary's a bit mental this week, so all good though. Nice to be busy.
Papa Stu?
Just take it easy, watch your TV. I think I'm watching Arsenal. West Brom have scored. It's 2-1 now. I watched the end of this game and probably just take it easy because it was like a hectic day yesterday on the baby and that, and watching the match. So yeah, just take it easy tonight and then get ready for the start of the week for work. What about you, Gav?
I never got any drinks over the weekend because I was working. Even like Friday night, when Mum and Dad's back garden, didn't really have any drinks because I started at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. So I'll probably have a couple of drinks tonight to kind of celebrate Hibs win yesterday, celebrate my birthday. And yeah, I'm off the next couple of days, so kind of chill out and probably get some podcast stuff done kind of in advance for the next couple of weeks because we've actually done a bit of schedule and we're planning ahead. But yeah. Speaking of which, I am working at the weekend. Working Wednesday, but we're going to do a podcast regardless. Stuart, how are you feeling about hosting?
Oh well, it's obviously they're big shoes to fill. But yeah, looking forward to it. I'll strong arm the boys here to kind of come on and support me as well. But no, looking forward to it, mate.
I think the plan is to do that sort of after the final whistle, looking back at the Aberdeen game and previewing the Celtic game, hopefully live. We're going to look at getting Stuart the set up to also go live, but it'll definitely be up as a podcast. And we'll be back next Sunday to review the Celtic game, and then the week of the cup final, we're looking at a few. We were speaking about earlier on. We're looking to do a phone in. I'm saying it now, Dave, so we're committing to it. A cup final quiz that week and obviously a cup final preview. Depending on our plans for the cup final, we might look at going live in the morning for a couple of hours. Drinking is mandatory on that one. Dave's already got a head start today on that, but the Saturday morning, the cup final, drinking is mandatory for that live stream. I don't think that was good as a podcast, but yeah, I'll make up a nice fancy graphic of the schedule for the next few weeks. But we're going to be busy. We're going to keep content coming. I think Joe's got a couple of articles planned as well for folk that like reading them. So yeah, we'll get you plenty of content in the next few weeks. All regarding Hibs in the lead up to the Scottish Cup final and the third team. I was supposed to say I hate saying that, third best team in Scotland, but we are. I was going to say aye. Fuck the old firm, the best team in Scotland. Anyway, yeah. Yes. So we'll wrap it up there, guys. Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you everyone for listening. At DTFC Talk Teapot, everything. But thanks again, guys.